You know, drinking alcohol is something that seems to be baked into our society. We use it as a way to celebrate and as a way to wind down.
But it can also creep into the danger zone if it becomes too big a part of our lives, like it did for many during the pandemic.
Well, there's a movement that's catching on called Sober Curious. So I decided to learn more about it firsthand. And that's our featured story at the top of the list.
Stress, loneliness, boredom. Whatever the reason, the pandemic may have created a generation of problem drinkers.
A lot of people have been drinking more. We've seen a huge spike in binge drinking, particularly among women, which is up 40%. As we start to sort of come out the other side, you're probably realizing, well, wait a minute. Maybe I am drinking in a way that's not healthy for me.
Ruby Warrington, founder of the Sober Curious movement and author of Sober Curious, says this might be a good time to start taking a closer look at your relationship with alcohol. Start by asking yourself questions.
I actually had a lot of questions about my drinking. Things like, am I drinking too much? Like, what is too much? Why is it sometimes so hard to say no? I mean, my drinking didn't look like what I thought alcoholic drinking was. It wasn't creating big problems in my life, but still I had these questions.
And when you're answering, remember, there's no judgment.
A lot of this is about really being honest and allowing yourself in a non-judgmental way, not making anything right or wrong or good or bad or say anything about you as a person, but really like, who's actually the one in control here? Has alcohol actually taken up more real estate in my life than I am comfortable with, or than feels healthy for me?
Next, remove alcohol from your life.
I don't just mean for a couple of days. It's actually only over a period of time that you begin to really feel what it's like to not have any alcohol in your system.
Ruby recommends a month minimum to give you a chance to see what effects alcohol truly has on your life.
So many of us use alcohol as a crutch to get us through the difficult situations. But if we can confront what's challenging in our lives without using that substance, we just slowly become stronger and more resilient.
Cutting back the cocktails for longer will also allow you to see the effects it has on your body.
Perhaps you feel like you've got more energy. Perhaps you just feel more optimistic. Perhaps you just are sleeping a lot better. We forget, because alcohol is so socially accepted and so glamorized, we forget that it's a toxic substance. You know, it takes a huge toll on our bodies.
And finally, don't think about what you're giving up, but what you're gaining instead.
Rather than thinking, oh, I'm giving something up, or something's being taken from me, or I'm going to be missing out, really to reframe that as, what do I want to make space for in my life instead? If I wasn't spending all that time thinking about alcohol, drinking alcohol, recovering from drinking alcohol, what would I have the time and energy to be bringing into my life instead?
Last call for alcohol with the Sober Curious movement at the top of the list.